Welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. Today we will be doing the player ratings for Liverpool versus Manchester City. It was a one-sided game. A crazy result, for both teams. For City, of course, amazing, and for Liverpool, not so great. Their title hopes, defending the title, the hopes are slipping now. I have with me my co-host Zohair Khan and Abraziz. Zo, how are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Bit of a rough set of games, but other than that, all good, man. Can't complain. You?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Don, apart from City and Spurs, everyone else had a bad week. So how are you doing, man?
Me, I'm okay. Same old for me, a little bit on
He's
that
used to
side.
it.
So
Any issues with the refs this week?
absolutely.
Agendas.
You saw the red card that Saka didn't get. There's a video going on Twitter. There's an exact same decision that Arteta did, and he got red carded for it. Same exact thing. Saka was on Saka, and he didn't get it. He didn't even get. Oh, he got a yellow. But yeah, I mean, I'm used to.
But that doesn't fit the narrative, right? That doesn't fit the narrative. But you, on a serious note about that, you guys saw what happened with Mike Dean?
That's so silly. What happened to him? Like, I mean,
so basically, like, obviously there was he gave the card to Souček, right?
Souček,
yeah, and we can all agree that wasn't a red card, but
100%.
What happened afterwards is basically him and his family were receiving death threats over social media and whatnot.
West Ham fans?
Obviously, it's who knows, but probably, but it's just obviously Mike Dean doesn't have the best record. He's very card happy, but at the same time, that's really crossing the line. So he's requested to be removed from the rotation for referees. I don't know if it's just for 1 week or if it's going to be for an extended period of time. But he's taking a bit of a break because of the abuse. I guess the abuse that he receives, he doesn't really care about. But once you get family involved into it, if you're threatening his wife, his kids, other people in the family, I don't know exactly who said what, but I'm assuming it was going after his partner, his kids, whatever. That's definitely a line that can't be crossed. That obviously the racist abuse that players like Tuanzebe and whatnot have received. There's been a lot of that going around. So these are the things that football really needs to get collectively needs to sort their shit out, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's there's that line shouldn't be crossed at any given time.
Yep. No, 100%. And moving on to this game, initial thoughts. Don, City, firm favorites now to win the league. The statement of intent. Liverpool, on the other hand, a poor performance from them. They'll be very disappointed. You could say that Liverpool were missing players, but so were City. So a kind of one-sided game in the end. So your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, City were rampant. I mean, they were absolutely incredible. I mean, it did help that Alison forgot his brains at home, but even apart from that, I think that City were amazing. When I touch upon on the personal ratings as well, Ike Gundogan, man, what a game he had. Phil Foden, he was amazing. So these guys are starting to really gel as a team, and they've really clicked at the right time. They've already had their slump in the beginning of the season. So unless they have a big slump now, I don't think that anyone can stop City from winning the title this season.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And let's crack on with the ratings. I'll start with you, Zo. The Liverpool's performance, it was poor, even though they were in the game till the 65th minute. I think it was 1-1, right? But you always saw those goals coming, but you didn't see those mistakes. Let's start with the main man to talk about. I think the most controversial guy to talk about in this game, Alison, had a very poor game. Unfortunately, 3-4 errors. 2 led to goals, but there were more errors than that as well. Your thoughts on his performance in goal?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Alison definitely had quite the shocker of a game. He is, there's no debating the fact that he's top 5 keepers in the world. You could make the argument that he's probably it's between him and Henderson for best keeper in the Premier League at this point.
For me, he was top in the Premier League for the last couple of years, and
exactly. He's been fantastic, and just to echo what's been said, anyways, it's just that Liverpool wouldn't be where they are without Alison. You saw what happened when they had someone like Karius, someone like Mignolet. When they had, let's take Karius as an example. When they had Karius, they had Van Dijk playing, but even then, a player of Van Dijk's caliber couldn't offset the impact that a shaky keeper like Karius had on Liverpool's, ambitions for silverware. And Alison is basically the reason why, a big part of why they are where they are, why they're Champions League winners, why they're league winners. He's been absolutely fantastic for them. He's a great goalie, but today was an absolutely terrible game. The errors for the second goal were ridiculous. Like the initial short pass that he made, that didn't go anywhere. He got lucky not to not to get penalized for that one right away. But then as soon as he got the ball back, he gave it right back away to City. Complete meltdown for the third goal. What was happening over there? Just I was just watching and I was like, I can't believe what's going on. And then even for the fourth goal, the one that Foden scored, beautiful shot by Foden. But could you make the argument that Alison could have maybe closed him out better, maybe made himself bigger, stronger? The criticism that was leveled at De Gea for Everton's equalizer, the third goal, you could make those same criticisms against Alison in this game. So it was a question of very much like Alison watched De Gea and he's like, hold my beer, I can do worse. I mean, for Liverpool and for Alison, I think the best thing would be to forget about this game as quickly as possible and just reset. There's no point dwelling on it apart just to acknowledge the fact that mistakes were made and they can't be playing like this if they want to defend their title and if they want to have a chance at winning it going forward again. I got to give Alison a 2.5.
2.5 out of 10. Yeah, fair enough. You made really bad mistakes. Well, what I didn't understand about the third goal is you already made one mistake. Okay, that's human error. But then to repeat a mistake like that,
that's what I'm saying.
Just clear
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, just clear. Just get
I know it's easy to say, but you already made that mistake, so it should be in your thing. I wonder if it's him taking more pressure now that Van Dijk's not there to organize that defense. Maybe that's causing him to make mistakes for himself. He's focusing too much on other things. But I don't know. There could be an excuse. But
I don't know if that's. I think he just had an off game today, yesterday. I mean, I just feel that he's been great regardless of whether Van Dijk has been there or not.
Yeah.
With the rotating cast that occupies Liverpool centre back spots, he's been good throughout all of that, right? I just feel that today was just a one-off, man. He's too good for this to be anything more than just a blip.
Yep. Okay. And 2.5 for Alison, and moving on to Trent Alexander-Arnold.
So Trent, I don't know what briefings he gets leading up to the game because Trent doesn't really defend. He's really good going forward. I really appreciate his game going forward. He played a couple of great balls into Mane, created some good chances, but defensively, man, he gets skinned, and I feel that yes, I understand that the game has moved towards celebrating and valuing attacking fullbacks more than your more defensive minded fullbacks. If you go back 10 years, most fullbacks were very defensive. It was sort of like the revelation of Dani Alves, Marcelo, these guys that really brought to the forefront the concept of the attacking fullback, right? Where you could maybe skip some of your responsibilities on the defensive side as long as you were making an outsized contribution on the offensive side. But it comes back to the idea that defense is such an important aspect of the game, and I feel that Trent doesn't contribute enough on that end. Just talking about this season. So he got skinned in the build up to the first goal. He was beaten again afterwards. Just didn't lock down the right flank how he should have been. But I did appreciate his game going forward. I thought he was the more attacking and one of the brighter spots on the Liverpool team going forward. I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. He was poor defensively. Attackingly, he did provide something. But yeah, I guess, he need to work on that. And especially with this center backs missing, he'll need to step up defensively 100%. Moving on to Jordan Henderson filling in at center back.
So when it comes to Hendo, man, I feel like playing him as center back is a waste. He can play the role and he does a decent job. But what was the point of Liverpool picking up 2 center backs in this January window if you're not going to play them, right? What was the point of getting the guy, what's his name, Davies?
Ben
Davies. What's the point of getting the other guy? I forget. His name is Victor or something. I don't know the guy. The guy they picked up from Schalke. What's the point of getting these guys if you're not going to play them? I feel like the way you want to maximize Henderson is to play him where he does the most damage, where he's most effective, which is midfield. Again, he did a good job today. A decent job. It wasn't the best, but he was probably the most secure player in that Liverpool back line. I'll give him a 5.
A 5 for Henderson. Fabinho?
Bro, Fabinho had a terrible game. Conceded the penalty.
Yeah, lucky.
Obviously, he had nothing for Sterling. He got skinned by Foden a couple of times as well. He just had a bad game. Picked up a yellow. You want him to be doing better, and to his credit, he's played that center back role with great skill, great aplomb. But yeah, this game definitely wasn't it for him. I'll give him a 3.5.
A 3.5 for Fabinho. Andy Robertson?
I honestly did not see Robertson all game. There was nothing going on in terms of attacking threat from his side. Defensively, I thought that Phil Foden, the Stockport and Iniesta ran circles around him. Just gave him a really, really tough time. And sure, he got a little bit. He got hurt in that collision with Alison. But yeah, I thought Robertson had a very poor game, especially compared to the usual consistent standards that he plays to. For me, it was a 4.5 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, he looked tired for sure, Robertson. He wasn't himself. And then moving on, let's go to Thiago Alcantara.
Thiago Alcantara, my man's here to play idea football, bro. Most encouraging player on the pitch, bro. Most high fives, most encouragement given. Listen, Thiago's a baller, bro. Thiago's all class, and it's just Liverpool play a little bit differently to the teams that he's been playing in, whether it was at Barcelona, whether it was at Bayern Munich. So there is going to be, a little bit of an adjustment thing going on. He, had to deal with injuries, a lot of things that sort of got in the way. But yeah, like we got to call it like it is. And Thiago's been poor, man. Hasn't been great in the games that he's played. He's done better in some than others. But yeah, I thought he had a very average game, very mediocre game against City. He got hooked about 68 minutes in as well.
Yeah.
So whether that's to keep him fit, maintain his fitness, or whether it was because there wasn't enough coming from him, I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10 for Alcantara. Wijnaldum.
I thought Gini was okay, man. He was.
Yeah, it wasn't very
Yeah, he did his job. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing spectacular. I think he was the deepest lying midfielder in that Liverpool lineup. Could he have done more? Sure. Anyone on the team could have done more. But yeah, maybe he could have done a little bit more disruption. Maybe he could have broken up City's plays a little bit more. But I just feel that overall City had dominated this game pretty much start to finish. I'll give Gini a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, fair enough. Curtis Jones.
So I thought Curtis Jones was actually the brightest spot in Liverpool's midfield. He was the one who was pushing forward, driving the ball forward. He had I think 1 or 2 decent opportunities. Should have been doing better from them, I feel. But it is what it is. Again, if to criticize him to not score, pretty much the entire Liverpool team wasted chances across the board. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10 for Jones. And then moving on to Roberto.
I've said this multiple times, man. Liverpool need more from Bobby. Like, you can't be just running around giving us megawatt smiles and advertising for your dentist, bro. Like, you got to do more as a striker. Like that. That's why I think Jota was such a fantastic signing for them, man. He really gives them another dimension that I think Bobby doesn't. He had some
he works hard and everything, but in the position he's playing, he needs to score more. That's what it is, right?
Either score, assist, whatever it is. I mean, some of his play was good. Some of it was really mediocre today. I guess I'll give him a 5.5.
5.5 out of 10. You can say his role is to create space for Salah and Mane to come in, and if they're not finishing, it makes Firmino look bad as well. But I just feel the position he's playing, he does need to contribute a bit more.
Listen, I'll give you a counter example. Yes, absolutely. Firmino is there to help Salah and Mane play in the position that they want to play in, just like Benzema was there to enable Ronaldo and Bale. But the difference is that Benzema can score on his own as well.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I think he needs to do that as well. And then moving on to Sadio Mane. Sorry, Firmino, you gave 5.5.
5.5, yeah.
Yeah, Firmino 5.5.
5.5 I gave him. Mane, man, Mane always works hard. He's supremely talented, but I just feel he could have done better with his chances. He had the header off that Trent ball. He should have buried that, man. That was pretty much an open header, and you expect a player of his caliber, especially with how much his hairline's moved back. He's got so much space to hit the ball. I just feel that it didn't work out for him, man. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. 6
out of 10 for Mane. It's unbelievable how Mane and Salah get into amazing positions, but when they don't score, it costs Liverpool games. But they get into really good positions, to be honest with you. And then moving on to the final starter, according to our co-host, he's the second best Egyptian in the league after El Neni, Mohamed Salah.
Oof, man, sometimes I don't want to address these sorts of things. He won the penalty. It was a penalty. There's no denying it. He scored the penalty. A lot of pressure there. Liverpool hadn't scored in something like, I don't even know. They were saying a stat, something like 400 something minutes. Liverpool hadn't scored at Anfield. So there was definitely a lot of pressure. A lot of it was a very what I want to say. There was a lot of pressure. It was definitely a very difficult moment. So it's good for him to score, break that duck, break that sort of, that bad streak that they were on. But again, you mentioned it earlier that, when it comes to Mane and Salah, they get a lot of chances, but they don't necessarily convert as many as they should be. Definitely more volume in terms of how they play as opposed to, let's say, pure quality on chances. But I guess, you got to give him something for the goal to win that penalty. But yeah, you want more from him. I mean, we made the comment last time that even though like it feels like he's been having an off season, he's still leading the Golden Boot, whatever it is. But yeah, like I feel like you want more from him, especially in these big games. You want more decisive performances. Just to be nice, I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for Mo Salah. And then moving on to the subs, Shaqiri for Jones.
Well, I'll make it easy for you. Both Shaqiri and Milner, I gave them 5.5 just because
Milner
they came on. They didn't necessarily do bad, but they didn't really do anything either. Plus, they conceded another 3 goals after coming on. So whether that's Milner and Shaqiri's fault or not, I leave that to you guys. But yeah, I can't give them like 6.5 or 7 when they got smashed with coming on.
Yeah, I mean you couldn't do much with what Alison was doing, but I fair enough. So you give 5.5 out of 10 for both.
5.5 for both. Yeah,
for both subs, and then Jurgen Klopp. This guy is getting to him. Did you see what he did with the journalist? Like he shut him down.
I did. He did it with multiple journalists. So he did it with Jeff Shreves, but Jeff Shreves is a moron, so that's fine.
After the game. With multiple.
Well, it was because all the interviews are now done by distance, right?
Yeah.
So there were these reporters that were either they were for I don't know if they were calling in from Israel or they worked for an Israeli like sports news whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they asked them the question about top 4 and about the difference between them and City right now in terms of table position. He did the same thing. He's like you had 2 questions and you wasted 1. Like it's just, and he just kept on repeating the thing that you wasted your question. Like, all right, Klopp, I get it, man. You're having a bad run. It's okay. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
You just you already look stressed. It's not like this is a new thing for you.
Yeah. Like I mean, he's a great manager, but you'd sense that he does have that hot temper kind of thing where he has that switch,
I mean, yes, he does, but at the same time, man, he like listen. Every manager
has Yeah, Ferguson had it.
But Klopp spends 90% of his time preaching this whole kumbaya bullshit. Everyone's hugs and this and that. All of a sudden, when things aren't going his way, now you get this nasty streak coming out of him. I don't mind, bro. You know me. I love Jose, bro. Jose's the meanest guy in the league. But the point is that when it comes to Klopp, now he just comes across as whiny, as salty. When things are going Jose's nothing if not consistent. When things are going his way, he's grumpy. When they're not going his way, he's grumpy. When he's fired, he's grumpy. When he's hired, he's grumpy. It's all grumpy. Klopp, bro, he's just coming across as salty. He's coming across as whiny, and it's just, bro, when the excuses he's making, what are the excuses he's made? He's talked about the grass being too tall, not being cut properly. He's talked about City getting a break because they didn't have enough players because of COVID. Like, come on, bro, get out of here. Yeah. Get out of here. Go back to Germany, man.
Your rating.
My rating for Klopp, honestly, I don't think he picked a bad team. But I'm gonna give him a rating based on his terrible attitude, and I just feel that he needs to be motivating this team more, especially to show up against Man City. City are leading. They look like the favorites for the title at this point. I'm gonna give Klopp. I'll give him a 4.5.
4.5 out of 10. That wraps up Liverpool's ratings. Don, Zoe's on fire today.
Absolutely. It'll be a tough act to follow.
Yeah, I mean, you got this. So moving on to City. Amazing performance. Ederson in goal. He didn't make the mistakes that Alison did. He was
contrary to Alison, I mean, it was very easy for me to rate him because Alison was so poor that the comparison is pretty simple, And I think he was very assertive. I think he was every time a ball was getting crossed, I think he was looking dominant in trying to collect those crosses and stuff like that. I thought he had a pretty good game. I thought I'm a big fan of his distribution. I think he distributes the ball pretty well. I think especially for a team like the way Pep runs his team, I think that for a goalkeeper that's very, very important. I think he does that well. I think he was great on the ball. He was great off it. He was very assertive in his position. I thought he had a very good game. 8 on 10. He couldn't do much about the penalty. Even though he got that, he couldn't do much about that.
I think Ederson has probably the best distribution in the league when it comes to goalies.
His distribution is really good.
Very cool.
And then moving on to Cancelo, for me, this guy's been like the best player in the league so far. But I mean, that's to contrary, you can argue. But
He's
yeah, just for
no,
me.
even in the game, he was a workhorse. He was running up and down the pitch. He was solid both sides. He was solid
Yeah.
offensively. He was solid defensively. Hardly anything that he didn't put a foot wrong. I think he had a pretty good game, 8 on 10.
Yeah, he kept the ball well as well. 8 on 10 for Cancelo, and then Stones, man, that finish was really nice, but unfortunately,
I
it's come
yeah.
offside. Yeah.
I really I mean it was quite a nice finish. I mean just for style points I'm going to give him an extra point for style because it was quite
Nice.
it was quite a nice finish. I thought he had even defensively I think he's great. I think that he's been a revelation for the City side. We've been saying he's also in our mid year mid-year team of the season so far. I think we picked him as our player in the defensive line as well. I think he's been a revelation. He's been quite amazing.
Yeah.
And turns out it was a good decision to take him over Diaz.
Yeah,
'Cause
at
Diaz
that
made
time it was
mistake.
it was 50-50. Also,
It was neck and neck.
Robertson. A lot of people saying, "Why don't you take Robertson?" But I think Cancelo has been just outstanding, man.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And coming back to Jones, I think he was so composed in his defensive line as well. I thought he was incredible, very very good, and just an added extra point for that finish. Although it didn't count, 8.5 on 10 for him.
8.5 out of 10 for John Stones, and then Ruben Diaz gave away the penalty. But apart from that mistake, he was good, and he's had a good season so far.
That's the only thing. The only reason I have to dock off points is because he gave away the penalty, and even though it didn't matter in the end, but I think the giving away the penalty the way he did was a little bit unnecessary. Yes, it was a penalty. Salah made a little bit of made the most of it, but people have been doing that and they have been getting it.
Yeah, so but if Bruno did that, the narrative would have.
When did I say?
Not you.
When did I say?
In general,
it's like I know if Bruno did that, I mean, because he's been taking so many penalties, and of course he's going to get so much stick for it.
Narrative would have changed.
But no, I would have. I mean, see, in the book, in the rule book, it's a penalty because he pulled him from the back, just a touch bit, even though it was just a barely touched him. So so you can't really argue with that aspect of things. But yes, of course, if Bruno did that, I'd probably be fooling around a little bit more for you, just for the
not just you. The narrative, the narrative would have just changed. United referees, this, that, the whole narrative would have changed. But I guess
for the banter, though, I would have fooled around a little bit. But yeah, I think but I have to dock off points. I think apart from that, he had a pretty good game. I think that he didn't do too much wrong apart from that. But just because he did give away the penalty, 6 on 10.
6 on 10. Yeah, he's been having an outstanding season. So I guess like a mistake here and there is okay. Zinchenko.
I thought Zinchenko was, I mean, again, similar to Cancelo, man. Both of them have just been so amazing, so composed, and complete workhorses for the City side. They've been running, like I said, for Cancelo as well. I mean, offensively, defensively, he was solid for both sides. It would only be fair that I rate them similarly. So another 8 on 10 performance.
8 on 10 for Zinchenko, and then moving on to Rodri.
I thought he had a pretty good game. I mean, he whatever little was needed of him in the midfield, I thought he did that because of the fact that the goals were coming in because of other people's mistake. He didn't have to assert himself too much. He could have just helped his back line, and he was chilling in the back. And whenever Liverpool were coming forward, I thought he broke up the place pretty well. I thought he had a decent game. I'll give him a 7 on 10. 7
on 10 for Rodri. Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva, I thought he was again, he was all over the place. I thought on the right side of the flank he was playing pretty well. He was also, I thought, very selfless. I thought he was passing the ball around when he
the assist was nice.
A few times. Yeah, the assist was nice. A few times he could have gone for the shot, but I thought he was trying to make that extra pass so that he actually, it makes the other person look better, whatever. But I thought he was offensively very, very good, and he did what was required of him. I thought he had a very good game. 7.5 on 10.
7.5 out of 10 for Bernardo Silva. Mahrez.
I thought Mahrez was the only poor performance in the City side. I just felt like for long periods I felt like I didn't see him much at all.
Yeah.
I thought I thought he was completely lost.
He didn't even get into those positions like to miss chances or anything like that.
Exactly. I mean, you saw even who was the guy we were talking? Bernardo Silva was all over the place. I thought Sterling was running around a lot. Ike Gundogan, of course, and Phil Foden. All of these guys were all over the place. I mean, you could see all of them play, but I just felt like Mahrez, I don't know if it was something that Pep asked him to do. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like he was lost for a lot of the time, and you could tell like he was the only player who was substituted. So it could tell a lot about how his performance was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I'll give him a 6 and 10. I thought he was
Fair enough.
yeah.
6 and 10, 6 out of 10 for Riyad Mahrez, and then Gundogan missed the penalty, came back, scored 2 goals. Shows a lot of mental strength, and he's stepping up big time in Kevin De Bruyne and Aguero's absence. He's scoring the goals as well. So, your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, I think he wanted to tribute the Super Bowl as well. I mean, he wanted to like just wank it in the air to get those 3 extra points, but, but because of that penalty.
Oh, the field goal,
yeah, the field goal, so 3 points. But he actually tweeted about that after, so it was funny with the way he tweeted. He's like, "Oh, it's Super Bowl day" or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought he was absolutely incredible. I mean, he was just so good on the day. He could have very easily gone into a shell after missing that penalty. A lot of players do that, but I think he came out stronger. I thought he was incredible. He was absolutely working very hard in the midfield. He was, whenever there was even whenever Liverpool was getting the pressure moving on their side, I thought he was able to bring the midfield into attack very quickly, and I thought he basically made them not miss Kevin De Bruyne, which is a big deal, I thought.
Yeah.
So I thought those 2 goals were also pretty good. I'm gonna dock off a point for missing the penalty, because you can miss penalties in this day and age at the position that he's at. So I thought he had a very good game, but just docking off a point for a penalty, but I'll give him a 7.5 on 10.
7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, even FPL docks the point off. Even though he's got 2 goals, they dock a point off. So I mean,
Exactly.
you're well within that. Yeah, I think Gundogan as well. He's very highly rated in Germany as well. Like, I think injuries has kind of stemmed his career, but like in Germany, they rate him really highly.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see why. I mean, he's just been so phenomenal. He's been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, if he can stay fit, I think he will be a really good player for City. And then moving on to Phil Foden. This guy has been exceptional, man. And I think Pep handled him really well, even though I criticize Pep a lot. I think this situation, he put him on the bench quite a few times. He learned under Kevin De Bruyne. But now, like, he's coming out. You can see his talent and everything. He's looking really good. Your thoughts on Phil Foden's performance?
A fantastic display. He was just phenomenal. The way he played, his goal was great. His assist to Gundogan's second was pretty damn awesome. I agree with you. I think that Pep was rather conservative about him. Wasn't bringing him on as much as you'd like to see, because you know that there is talent. But I think the way Pep has handled him has been commendable, and it shows. In these kind of big games, you see Phil Foden's presence has made a big difference for some of these guys, for City. I mean, and people around him are starting to look really good. So, I mean, I have to give him a 9 on 10. I thought he was the best player on the pitch.
I think at this point it's got to be safe to say that Foden is the best young English player right now.
Yeah.
Whoever you want to look at his competition, Sancho, whoever it is, I think that Foden is just a step clear.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think he was absolutely phenomenal. Yes, on the day as well.
Yeah, and then Raheem Sterling, he's scoring now. He's looking afraid. Like, there's a lot of criticism that he is not clinical enough, but he's scoring now. He's always a threat going forward. So, your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, finally scores at the Anfield since leaving them. I mean, seems like a long time back since he's left them. So, so finally scores at the Anfield. So good for him. I think he was.
No fans would have helped.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think he was excellent again. I think as workhorse, he keeps running around. He was all over the place. He caused a lot of problems for that back line. The likes of, I mean, Zoe mentioned Fabinho was looking poor, but I was also because Sterling was running circles around him. He was just making Fabinho look so poor, and I mean, he was excellent. 8.5 on 10 performance for him.
8.5 on 10 for Raheem Sterling, and then just the one substitute, Gabriel Jesus for Riyad Mahrez.
He came in at a good time. I think he didn't have he didn't have the pressure of kind of creating. He could have chilled because a couple of goals had already gone in, and Liverpool was looking good. City was looking good, and Liverpool was being they were being aided by a absolutely poor performance by Alison, so he didn't have to do much over there. Just he came in, he chilled around a little bit. 7 on 10.
7 on 10 for Jesus. He got the assist as well, right?
He did get the assist, right?
For Foden. Yeah,
for Foden.
He did for Foden. Yeah, he got the assist. And then that wraps up the players. Pep Guardiola, his rating out of 10.
I mean, we were just talking about how he's played Foden into the team pretty well, and I think after that slump in form, he's brought this team out. He's figured it out. He's understood what needs to be done, and now he's pretty much the favorite going into it. Now the pressure is now starting to like really. I mean, now the pressure is going to start kicking in, where it's going to be like everyone's now talking it's City's to lose, and with United kind of under them, just around, there and there about with them. It's going to be a fun 14-15 games left of whatever's left of the season. It's going to be I mean, it's for United, it's without any kind of pressure. If they lose, no one's going to really complain much. But if City lose from the position that they are in and the kind of games that they've played and the performances that they've shown in these past couple of months, I think they will be really, really upset if they lose from here on. So it's kind of City's to lose. So now the pressure is going to start getting to them. I'm going to be interested to see how Pep and the team handle that. But I think on the basis of just this game, I thought he was incredible. 9 on 10 performance for him.
Yeah, to be honest, if I just give my opinion on that, I think that won't be an issue because they've been in this position so many times, City in the past, and when they're in this position, they win it like 99% of the time. I honestly feel, I don't know what you think about this. Last season, they were off the gas since January. We could have, I think midway, we knew that Liverpool's going to win the league. Yeah. Do you think that actually helped City in hindsight because they were off the gas? They didn't put as much, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't put effort, but like now they're like fresher again and they're going back. Do you think that helped them? Like, you talk about players getting worn out, but do you think that kind of losing the league a bit early helped them?
I completely I have to agree 100%. I mean, yes, they as soon as they figure it out, that's what I've been telling Liverpool. I mean, we're talking about Liverpool friends as well. That you now understand that winning the league is probably going to be difficult. So just chill out a little bit. Formulate your plans, change it up a little bit. You know what? Priority is top 4. You want to maybe look at the Champions League as probably put more energy over there. Conserve some energy in the league. Try to make these players come out of this. They look worn out. Even Robertson, we saw he was so tired. Trent was coming back from an injury, so he's also not there. Thiago needs to really step into himself in this. So I think that yes, I agree that I think that would have helped City, and I think that Liverpool should understand that sometimes it doesn't work out. So you're already behind. You're already 13 points according to their manager behind. So you want to just take it easy, and make sure you cement one of the top 4 spots, and then you can 100%. Take it from there, and come all guns blazing next season.
Yeah, no.
For me, I think personally is that like it's one thing to win the league. That obviously is a difficult achievement in itself.
Yeah.
But to defend the league is a completely different ballgame. And especially in the case of Liverpool, like they hadn't won the league in 30 odd years. So the sort of the relief, the emotional roller coaster that they were on, and the emotional high they would have hit upon winning the league, and they won the Champions League as well. Definitely massive haul. I think it just took it out of them. And, none of these guys really, they won the league in a season and they won it comprehensively, definitively. There's no denying their quality and how well they played it that year. But they also definitely benefited from other teams being off the boil considerably. This year's been a super topsy-turvy thing. But in terms of City's players have gotten hungry because they're like, hey, you know what? Everyone's talking about Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it gives and it lights that competitive fire. And I think that needs to happen. Every team is, not to say that Liverpool's at the end of their cycle, but it is very difficult. The best teams that are out there, regardless of the sport, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, cricket, whatever, it doesn't matter the sport. It's always a cyclical system, right? Teams will be good for a couple of years, then eventually that hunger, that desire, that flame is gonna fizzle out, and someone else is gonna come and knock you off your perch because they just want it more. And I feel that Liverpool didn't, even regardless of how well they started the season, whatever it was, it never really seemed like they wanted it. They wanted it. There were other teams that were more up for it than Liverpool, and I think that's what's worked in City's favor. Where City's players are hungry for it. They want to win the league. They want to make a statement. They want to remind everyone that hey, we're still quality. We're still top levels talent. Don't write us off like you have been.
Yep, some excellent points over there. I think that wraps up the player rating, guys. Any last thoughts? Good?
Looking good.
I'm good, man.
All right, catch you guys soon. It was a big game, big result for City. They're on the course to winning another league title, but with this season, you never know what will happen. We have a bit of a break with the FA Cup, then we'll be back with the Premier League.
Yep. Sounds good.
Take care, guys.